I already had my gallery here in Paris, and there was a pilgrimage to Nîmes to see this building and to see the way it housed the art. And I think, I remember the first time when I walked into this building in Nîmes, but of course the Reichstag also a couple of years later, when he integrated really contemporary art on a very big scale. And I didn't know Norman at the time, but I remember when Baselitz told me about the visit of Norman to his studio in the north of Germany, and he was discussing with him the selection of the works for the Reichstag. So I think, between Nîmes and this Berlin project, I think I got really very curious, very interested, and very fascinated by Norman's work. Yeah. I think this is Norman's curiosity, and he never rests on anything he has achieved. I think there's always something, and for me this was an incredible example also, looking at Norman's vision of what he wants to achieve and this constant urge of excellence, to kind of move it forward. And I think there was never a standstill in his work. It was constantly changing, and I forgot where it was. I think it was either in Bilbao or in Abu Dhabi. No, it was in Abu Dhabi a couple of years ago when the Louvre opened, and they made a discussion about what's the future of culture, of art, architecture, music, education. And I will never forget the way Norman described what artists, architects, painters, composers have to do to make sure that their ideas are not stuck in a short period of time, but that they are constantly giving ideas for the future. And the way he was describing this, and also offering, his, being a mentor and being able to, being constantly open for a dialogue with a generation of either young architects or people who build the future, he started to discuss, how will people live tomorrow, and how can architects and artists kind of help, people, creating their lives and their environments and, their ecosystems, and sensibilities constantly change. We're looking at the world very different today than we did 5 years ago or 10 years ago. And Norman was always on the forefront to redefine where are we, what are we trying to achieve, and how can we do it better. It's always this eagerness to find something to make it better. I was very happy that in the beginning, when it opened in Madrid, I was there, I was invited, I was very privileged to be there. And for me, from the outside, of course, it's an archive, but it's more a laboratory, something where there is the archive of an incredible work, but there is also the platform to move this forward and to use this, the archive and the ideas, to kind of create something new. I feel, in talking to Norman and to Elena about what they want to do with the foundation, I think it's an open platform. I think it's inviting young and new generation of discovering, because that's the first step, discussing and moving forward. And I think it's an incredible gift to the cultural world. I've seen the exhibition at the Centre Pompidou several times now, because I'm absolutely impressed and emotionally taken by that show, because it's much more than an exhibition about architecture. It's the way he also introduced the building of the Centre Pompidou, the way he opened the windows. And for me, the most astonishing moment there was when he put the endless column of Brancusi just next to the Hearst Tower. And I think this is just pure genius. To look at this incredible two pieces of art. So maybe now the Hearst building became my favorite because of its connection to Brancusi's Endless Column. Because I've never even thought about looking at these two works of culture together, and but also because this is now the freshest memory of an incredible building Norman has done.